2025 was an excellent year for trading card games all around. Whether it be One Piece, Magic, or Pokémon, there was tons of excitement around these little pieces of cardboard. But one aspect no one's talking about is, what is the best binder for your trading cards? Well, in 2026 there isn't a single best binder, but there are binders that excel at protection, others that win on cost or usability, and some that are only good in very specific situations. This video will help you find out which one is right for you and your cards. The humble 3-ring binder. This is where it all began. This is the binder that we had. If you started collecting any sort of trading card game back in the 90s, you had a 3-ring binder. This one was actually made by Ultra Pro, including Ultra Pro card holders inside. One of the best aspects about these, especially after they got rid of the circular rings in the middle that damaged cards to replace for that straight up bar on the right, is the fungibility of the order. You can pick out any one you want, transfer the orders, and then put them back in whatever order you need. So it makes it very easy to add new cards. If you got more green cards, say here you wanted to add in, you don't have to push back every other color or ruin your ordering or redo the binder. You can just change it around. And honestly, if you find a good one, it's still a good solution. Now, we all remember they'd get caught just like this. That is a problem with these, and if they fall out of order, it doesn't get any better from there. But you gotta like the style. This is a classic binder from 1998, and if you like Magic, this thing has to speak to you. Urza Saga, widely regarded as one of the best sets ever. This one does great in cost, excellent in usability, but protection is rather low. The sweet spot for this binder is a changeable and moderately valuable collection, but if it's high value that you don't take it with you often, these things move around too much in transit, and the 3 rings can break and the plastic is not the thickest, so it really isn't the best. Plus, the top-loaded sleeves make the cards easy to fall out, so this is better to stay at home and most suited for deck builder style cards and deck builder style usage. For growing yet organized collections where you might want to have artifacts, creatures, spells, or however your TCG is organized all within one section, easy to add new sections and take out and utilize cards when you need them in a form factor perfect for that usage, but much more suited for staying home than taking on the go. So in 2026, I'd say a 3-ring binder that is not a circle but has the right side straight down for the bindings themselves is still a very useful binder in this particular circumstance. And I think most people forget about it, which is why I mention it here. So if you're looking for more versatility in your binder with a more reasonable travel size, maybe our next binder selection is for you. Enter the 4-pocket mini elastic closing Ultra Pro binder. These things are excellent for little curiosities you find. For me, this is my unusual lands binder. It's an easy way to find a bunch of lands that I might want to utilize in various decks as I build them. It doesn't hold too many cards, but it makes it fun, makes it easy to see them, and limits the scope of what you're collecting so it doesn't feel so intimidating and like you have too many spots to fill before this binder is complete. It's a great way to have a particular kind of collection relatively protected, but it does suffer from the shortfalls of the less than rigid outer walls, the fact that it can be bent or moved, and that it does tend to crack and fade with age. As you can see here, there's some fading in the bottom corner, and that's just to be expected. Other ones of these I've had have also cracked over time. So it's not great for a massive collection. This is more meant for bespoke situations, just like the one I have here. So this thing does great in cost, does great in usability, but is also fairly low in protection, although I'd say slightly higher than the 3-ring binder. For that purpose, this is more of a Jack Kerouac of binders, of vagabond, if you will. This is great for small collections with specific themes that you plan on traveling with often. Maybe little deck building tools that you might want to bring with you, maybe good for sideboards of more expensive cards, or even just small trade binders of a specific kind that you want to bring to various events or locations. Very easy to travel with, fits in a backpack nicely, and is a great solution for bringing around cards in reasonable protection. Next, we move into the 9-pocket, stretchy, elastic sealed plastic binder. This is the staple for anybody who just starts getting into a TCG, they start collecting more cards, and they realize, wow, I need a place to store these. This is a binder, if you're like me, will most likely be filled with commons and uncommons, some rares and mythics, or expensive cards, and the vast majority just fill up the remainder of the binder because, well, you have all these slots, you might as well use them. Now, this is a no-name. I believe it might have been Ultra Pro. It's kind of hard to recall. There's no branding on it, but it had an issue where the plastic would rub against it, leaving this residue. I've had this for about 5 years now. I've tried cleaning it, and it seems like that's permanent damage. So this is a binder I've grown out of, but it was the first, it was the old faithful, very easily fits into a backpack. But again, it lacks that rigid protection you might want and is prone to cracking in the corners as the plastic becomes more brittle with age, but totally serviceable and an excellent place to start if you're looking to bulk out your collection and grow into the TCG of your choice. This one scores well on cost, functionality, but rather low on protection once again. This binder is most at home as your trade binder, and that's what we will dub it. This is the classic trade binder, especially in this no-name version. One of the main reasons why this is ideal for trade binders is keeping a consistent theme without the variability of your page count, just like the 3-ring binder, might be a little bit frustrating over time if you decide to edit the pages or what's on them and have to build out a whole new section of the binder while pushing back every other card. So, having various cards in here that are basically themed in a fairly consistent way, but that you don't mind taking out and trading with every once in a while makes this the perfect choice for the trade binder. Also, its size fits into a backpack nice and easy, so it's easy to bring along with you to a game night or competition at your local game store. While not quite as versatile as the 4-pocket, the 9-pocket is the ideal trade binder, and excellent for beginner collections as well. And if you've grown past the trade binder and feel like you're ready for something a bit more sizable, perhaps this next binder will be more to your liking. This is the 12-pocket Ultra Pro Elastic Close Soft Plastic Siding Binder. This thing is very good for housing collections. It was my showcase binder for some time before I upgraded to something we'll show shortly. Not to be repetitive, this is identical to the 9-pocket and the 4-pocket, though a little bit more unwieldy, and it doesn't fit in a backpack, which is unfortunate. So this scores a little bit less on cost because we're breaching into a higher price tier now where you could get some more hard-bodied zippered closed binders for the same price. Not to mention with the branded content on the outside, it looks great, but it's going to cost a little bit more for having that jeweled lotus on its cover. It's a little bit more flimsy as well because it lacks the rigidity. When holding it, you can tell when I move it, it bends down in your hand with the weight of the cards. All in all though, this is dinged on cost, but relatively high in usability, but also dinged for the fact that it no longer fits inside a regular standard size backpack and will be a little bit more to carry along with you. And protection's an equivalent score here given its smaller counterparts. Same weaknesses persist despite this larger form factor. Therefore, this binder is called the Jack for the Jack of all trades, master of none. It does a lot of things really well, but nothing perfectly. Therefore, this binder is ideal for the growing collector, growing player, and somebody who hasn't really quite found exactly what they need in their card storage, but need a rather convenient and rather fast solution to be able to hold their cards and keep them relatively safe. Again, master of none, but it'll get the job done. Are you somebody who double sleeves their cards? Well, this may be the binder for you. We're moving on to a clear step up in card protection. This is the rigid body zipper sealed Vault X 9-pocket binder. Now, these are very good binders as well. You see the zipper there opens clearly and cleanly. The plastic preserved fairly well, but did suffer a little bit from that exterior marking, which we'll look at in a second. This protection is far better than the soft plastic exterior body, as they have hard, stiff cardboard in the middle, as well as this faux leather exterior to help protect it, and a solid zipper enclosure to make sure that the binder doesn't shift when it's in a backpack. The sleeves don't rub up against each other as much because it adds a little bit of rigidity to the front and back covers of the binder. Now, this is to preserve much more valuable pieces for most cases, but it does still fit into a backpack. So this will offer better protection than the 12-pocket Ultra Pro plastic exterior while also being more portable. So this one does pretty well for cost because you're getting much more in terms of protection. It also does well for protection, but it's not the best, and it does really well for functionality as the zipper is butter smooth and it's easy to fit into a backpack. This might be the sweet spot, the golden zone for your binder. So this is a great sweet spot for many people in between where they've been in the hobby for a little while. They now have many cards that are worth taking with them for maybe trade or to be able to showcase their collection while being able to fit into a backpack and offering superior protection as compared to the elastic seal and the soft plastic body of the previous binders we've looked at. Do you find yourself struggling with cardboard addiction? Well, apparently, so do I. This is the zipper closed 12-pocket collection behemoth here with a faux leather padded exterior, rigid body, and zipper seal. This is my binder that I rarely take out of the house. It's for my secret layer cards that I do use in decks while building decks, but it largely stays home, stacked with other binders on top of it. It makes cards a little bit flatter by being stored in here, which is nice if you suffer from curling of foils, but this is not meant to be taken with you. You can't fit it into a backpack as well. It's very thick when completely filled, so it's best for situations where maybe you might be taking it in a car somewhere or just leaving it at home. This is a vault for valuable cards and a place for you maybe to take cards out of and transfer into top loaders and maybe a deck box or something like that to bring to an event or maybe a local game night or one of your friends' houses. But this is not a very portable binder. However, it is excellent for protection and where I trust a lot of my more valuable cards. So this scores fine, and that lovely padded vegan leather exterior, as well as the 12-pocket form factor to fit plenty of cards. So I really enjoyed this one. It took a while to fill up, and I view this more as an archive as opposed to like a trading card binder, and that's where this fits really well for archival purposes and protection for your trading cards. For that reason, we will dub this style binder as the the Archivist. So this does excellent in protection, a little bit less well for value as they are fairly pricey, and a little bit less well for utility and usability as well, given its size. Yes, you can fit it in a duffel bag. If you're somebody who carries around your Magic collection in a duffel bag or a briefcase or something of that nature, you could fit this in there and it becomes a much better solution. For example, I do use an old school traveling suitcase to carry my collection, and this fit inside the secondary pocket in the back wall, so it can work for different travel solutions, but it's not as convenient and it's much more for a large collection travel situation as opposed to a quick grab and go solution. So for that reason, this is the Archivist. It should typically stay in place. It can travel and will be well protected when it does, but ultimately this thing does really well as a way to preserve and store your cards safely, especially if they're high value or part of high value products. And now, despite all the options we've gone through, if nothing has piqued your interest yet, perhaps this last offering will be more suitable to your particular use case. I give you the Top Loader Binder from Enhance. Full disclosure, this is the only binder of the video I did not personally purchase. I did receive it for free from a friend, Mike, the owner of Dragon's Den Gaming. He gave this to me in order to do a product review and said, hey, what do you think about this? A new binder just got in. It's a unique form factor. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it as somebody who certainly does not have a problem and is just an avid card collector. This is a top loader binder. I never thought I'd be in a position where I'd need to have a top loader binder, but I tell you what, this thing, now that I've used it, I filled up more than a third of it. I'm going to use this quite heavily. This is the premium archive. It is the best way to store and protect your cards that I've found yet that give excellent security. Being able to store these cards in top loaders as well helps a lot for trade conversations, even though some of these cards I could never ever consider trading. So you don't have to worry about bending the cards as they go in or take them out. It makes you actually feel like they're a lot more touchable in a way. You can remove cards without fear of bending or damaging them and hand them to someone to look at without worrying about how they're going to handle those cards. It just adds that extra layer. It takes your binder to the next level. I keep in here beautiful collections of hand-painted altars and is meant to be used as an archive, but also a reference point for me to grab certain cards that I might want to play with. But ultimately, I have yet to find a binder this good at making me feel as if my cards are secure and protected. Now, in terms of usability, turning the pages, as you can see, is a bit cumbersome and takes some getting used to, as the top loaders are heavier and thicker and cause the pages to kind of fold in upon itself. The exterior is made out of this nice nylon material, so it feels good to touch. And then the zipper, while brass and better quality, is a little bit harder to pull than the other ones we talked about. You have to be a bit deliberate with how you open and close it. I love the magnetic closure there, and the little extra pocket for storing things is a nice addition if you're going to have that exterior portion. Now, because of the way that this one is made and that extra pocket, it feels pretty nice to carry and hold with you. I could see taking this and just kind of throwing it on the car seat and not worrying, because that extra level of protection those top loaders give you adds security and how you feel about handling this binder. So in terms of cost, this one is relatively high, but the value you get for it I think is great. Protection is top notch and usability is rather low, I'm not going to lie. While it's very easy to load up with top loaders, if you have a page that only has the front filled and not the back, it's very unwieldy to turn. Again, you can get used to it, but it doesn't feel like your other binders because it requires more space between the cards in order to fit the top loaders in and out. They are side loading, which is nice, but the overall feel of turning the pages and using the binder is different and makes it feel a little bit more cumbersome. There's no way around it. Also, that zipper, it's a better quality. It's solid metal. You can tell by the sound. It feels almost like a piece of luggage when you open and close it, but it misses that buttery smooth of the plastic zippers on the previous binders. Ultimately, I love this binder, and there is something strange about having the top loaders in there that just adds a level of security to it where I'm putting only my best cards in there. And I like the secondary closing flap. It makes it feel extra secure and adds a little layer of cushion in case of drops. So, which binder do you think is best for you? Let me know in the comments below. Where are you in your TCG collecting journey? What games do you play? I largely talk about Magic the Gathering, as you can see by my collection here, but I know One Piece is huge and it's stealing a lot of players from a lot of games. Do you still play Yu-Gi-Oh? Are you a Pokemon collector? Where do you fit? Well, I hope you found this video informative. I really enjoyed making it, and stay tuned for my future video regarding deck boxes and the best way to store your cards and decks on the go, or even as showcase pieces on your shelf. And hey, if you like this, check out my video where I'm giving away 4 Commander decks, fully sleeved and boxed, ready to go. All you need to do is comment and like and be subscribed to the channel in order to be eligible to win in the random giveaway. Well, thanks for watching. I'm the Nerdy Attorney. Play paper magic with your friends. Be excellent to each other. And until next time, court is adjourned.